Alright, hello everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the Viking faction, a pretty fun faction. For the peasant unit, we have the headbutter. For the um, range unit, we have an ice archer, a brawler unit for the shield unit, a berserker for closing the distance, the jarl, the big strong tank unit, and finally the cheapest boss unit in the game, the longship. So first, let's go over the headbutter. It's definitely, it's a fun unit. I'd say they just jump at units. They have a lunge attack, and then they'll also hit with their fists. So normally after they lunge, they'll just go into just regular peasant mode and duke it out with their fists. So they do okay damage. They're kind of like the new unit, the miner. Except definitely a little bit worse, obviously. And we have, oh, is this supposed to be the ice? I'm like, why do things look like they're levitating? It's fine. I've figured it out. Yeah. So they just leap at units. Good for distractions. They do actually decent damage. They're definitely not bad at doing damage. So yeah, definitely a decent unit to put at your front line. The next unit, the Ice Archer, is a really interesting range unit. They shoot arrows, and then when they hit, they'll slow the units down. They don't actually do any damage. Technically, they don't do damage, but they'll slow the units down, and if enough arrows hit that enemy, then the enemy will die and fall over like this. They'll just become an ice statue. But they actually they don't get hurt. So if they fully thaw out after being frozen, nothing's gonna happen to them. But like bigger units like mammoths or giants are gonna have a hard time being affected by these ice archers, so you're gonna have to have a lot, and it's probably not worth it at that point. So yeah, they're pretty good. I'd say they may even be better than regular archers. They're not as good against like shielded units, and that's mostly because sometimes the shields will block, which will allow these guys to thaw out more, so they can continue going on and maybe not get hit again. So they're definitely not as good against shielded units. I'd say you probably want regular archers versus shielded units, because when regular archers hit, they will actually do damage, so it's going to be worth it when they hit the unit instead of just slowing them down. So yeah, there's the Ice Archer, and then I showed the other unit. So I really like this unit. I don't think they're very good, but I think they're a really fun unit, the Brawler. So pretty simple, just a one-handed shield and one-handed hatchet or axe, whatever you want to call it. I'm not sure. I know there's different. I don't know whether it's a hatchet or a axe. You know what? It doesn't really matter. So yeah, they're basically like the Viking style hoplite with the one-handed shield and then the weapon. Except these guys are definitely better than the hoplites, mostly because they don't get their spear stuck around their shield all weird, because the axe is very short. Their shield is also bigger, just to put it in comparison if you didn't see the last video. Whoops. Stop, I wanted one of them, please. Because the hoplite shield is smaller because of this weird cutout thing. It's supposed to be for the spear to go through, but obviously it's a tabs unit. It's not going to use it, so it's kind of useless. I mean, technically you can vie for saying that the hoplite's better because of his longer range, but honestly, the Brawler's just better. Now $40 better, maybe not. I'm not sure, because the hoplite is cheaper than the Brawler, but you know what, whatever. I like the Brawler better, so you know, get over it. So yeah, a decent melee unit. I definitely say they're like B, maybe a But with like a lot of the gunpowder units coming out, the normal melee units are just getting worse and worse, which is unfortunate. I definitely think we need a hard counter for gunpowder style units, but oh well. So yes, Berserkers, probably one of the most iconic Viking units. They'll jump over the enemy, turn them around, and then jump again and deal damage. They're pretty good. I mostly like them just for getting, like, if the campaign level has like archers right behind them, then you can just put Berserkers right in front. They'll take out the archers, then they'll go for the melee units, and then you usually have a bigger melee force over here, because these guys don't do amazing in melee. I don't even know if they'll win a 1v1 against the Squire. We can actually test that. There's no reason we can't do that. For their price, they should be able to take out 2. But, yeah, no, he'll be able to take out 1, I think. But he's not an amazing melee fighter. You're not going to pay for him for his melee fighting skills. You're going to pay for him to leap over the enemy units and kill the backline units. So that's what he's good at. So Valkyrie, kind of the same unit as the Berserker, just way more expensive. Like 2 times the price for the Berserker. And really, I don't find too much of a use for them. I feel like a Berserker can do everything they can do, and you can get 2 of them. You can see that we at least have 1. I think 2. Yeah, we have 2 dead Valkyries. And that was 2/3 of our force, so they're definitely not very good against a much less this force is so much cheaper. These guys were just taken out immediately, and the 3 brawlers took out 2 Valkyries, which is over double their price. So I don't know. I think Valkyries need to have a buff because I don't think they're very good right now, and they don't really go past the first unit they charge at, so they're not even really for killing backline. I guess they're just skirmishers. I don't know. They're not very good, but it's an interesting unit. Oh, our big old tank is the Jarl. Very. Let's get these guys out of here. Obviously, as we just saw, very susceptible to ranged units, but he is tanky. He has that massive AoE swing. He's like a good harvester. This is like what a harvester wants to be, because a harvester, in my opinion, is really bad. But yeah, he has a decently fast attack and a large axe that can take out tons of units at once. And he has decent health pool as well. So Jarl, I'd say, is a very good unit for his price. I'd say you probably want to be putting down a Jarl or maybe 2 Jarls instead of a King, just because King is a little bit overpriced right now. He's definitely not really good anymore. Unfortunately or not, but you can see he struggles hitting units. So this is why I put a Jarl down, or maybe even 2 Jarls. And he didn't even win. He didn't even beat these guys. 6 melee units. You should be able to do that easy peasy. They die in 1 swing. But for some reason, something that the Jarl can do that the King can't is the Jarl can hit with the butt of his axe to knock units away, while the King can only attack like on a forward slashing or sideways motion. So in a 1v1, I think the King would win against a Jarl. I'm not going to do it because it would probably take quite a... Killed the Jarl. No, I didn't. Because it would take quite a while, but Jarl's better for what the King is supposed to do, right? So that's where the Jarl stands. Very amazing unit. And then this is the cheapest bust unit in the game. Only 1,000. Other units come close to Wild West. Only is 12,000. Farmer only is 12,000. But this is the cheapest one, and it is an AoE, single AoE attack. If you saw the new-ish update, the Wild West faction, the Bank Vaulters, they're basically this unit, except 3 three paddle people, paddlemen, I don't know what they're called, come out of the boat and attack. Sometimes these guys, the people carrying the boats, can attack. Most of the time they get taken out though. These guys actually do a ton of damage when they hit, but you can see that they like to get stuck a lot. They like to get stuck on their boat. And I don't know, I think the bank vaulters are just a better unit. But obviously, I still like this unit. I think it's good, but it's definitely not worth $1,000, in my opinion. It's a fun unit, but it can easily get stuck. And a simple trick to just take away the AoE power of the attack is just put a halfling. And that will just render the boat useless. These guys will take forever to get to the front lines. And if you have a bigger force than 3 squires, they'll be able to take them out one by one. So an easy counter for that, obviously, if you wanted to have this not happen when you're creating your own campaign levels, you put it farther back and then put like a few units in the front like this. But I feel like its job is to be in the front, because if it's in the back, then it's going to hit its own units. So there's that. Yeah, definitely I'd say C tier. It's not very good, but it's an interesting unit. So yeah, thank you for watching. I hope this was interesting and informative, and adios. See y'all later.